Yeah, we've definitely had some questions about Gambit as well this tournament, whereas although Big's first game might have been a little bit rough, even though they won 2-0, looking much better throughout the tournament. Keto's got his classic raid boss, the Julie with the Kevlar. He's managed to trade back the initial kill, but on the other side of things, they've also got a P250 in the hands of Magix.
He's a player for me, Tom, that needs to have a big performance here today. He's been quite weak over the duration of the tournament, which is odd to say. CSGO, another player that's not quite been there statistically compared to usual, is going to be helped by Tizian, and they fend off this middle push with ease. It's Tizian that picks up 3.
Unfortunately for them, they don't actually get as far forward as I would have liked. Like, normally you're going to go for slightly deeper nades, but they all bounce off the wall, and nobody had really pushed up that far. And in fact, the utility damage on the other side is what's doing the majority of the damage. Easy cleanup thus far, and realistically, if you're on the big side of things, you don't want them losing any players here, and they don't. He might come under a bit of pressure.
Oh, HE not only softens Mia up, but slowed him down, and I thought that could make him a victim of the SMG spray. Not quite the case, but CSGO with the aforementioned AWP has put it to use. Now the wide swing from tabseN, who has statistically been a monster in this tournament, and he continues to show why. 30 seconds to go. They have to push up Banana. Young takes the headshot, but walks through it. With a Molotov for the cross, they had no smoke, but no one was there on CT side to fend them off. tabseN a little bit too late. They do well to not lose these. Obviously, they want to play for the W. They want to play for the win. And that's what they're coming in for. But tabseN caught in transition alongside CSGO, and Spirit finally.
Mir's still trying to keep some presence over onto the B side. 2 players will remain there, but with the damage already done, this is going to be a pretty rough take. Utility minimal now for both teams. A single Molotov for Magix, and this time Tizian is not going to have the same success. It's Young to remove him. No traces there, by the way, because that is the silenced M4. That is pure prediction coming out of Young. But CSGO on this side, they've got 10 seconds. They have to move down. The bombs hit the deck in the last few. They need to get onto this site, and they haven't managed to clear Zontaras. They've completely run out of time, but Zontaras will mow down the remaining 3. I think they've spotted enough players that they've decided, okay, let's put the pressure on this site. CSGO going to be there once again. First shot missed, and that could be the end of him. The flashbang is superb. He has one of his own to try and buy a little bit of time, buy a bit of space, but you can tell at this point, he doesn't know where to look. And Young will be his executioner, leaving 3 players to rotate in from Big, and they're going to be caught by a chopper on the wraparound. A 3v2 after plant, a rough one for Big to attempt.
Of the round, if he gets 1, I think there's a better chance that Big get back onto the site. He probably doesn't get overwhelmed as easily. And so Tizian has bypassed that. That affords the luxury of sending CSGO across the A site. They need Zontaras to have a massive round, and it's so unfortunate timing. He pulls the nade out, and Magix wide swings him. With the smoke down on towards CT side through Library, there's not much CSGO can do, but he does at least take Magix out of the round alongside it. But Mia is on the lurk, and Tizian never stood a chance. They want to make sure that none of Big get out of this round alive, and Mia, who kicked the round off with 2 frags, is looking to go full circle with the last 2 of the round, and CSGO's not sure if he's pushed or not. Not sure of his current position. I'm not sure if maybe Mira's waiting for that flank behind CSGO to take shape, but it's a gimme. It's a freeze. Thinking about going for the knife. No, not like this! And he gets the knife as well. It's so brutal, but what a beautiful round by Mia. A 4K that just completely decimates Big. 3rd player is coming over. It's a rough buy. It's really only tabseN that has anything to use, but he's already put that M4 to use. He puts it down range onto Patsy before he's traded out. Now Keto needs to tee off with a deagle. Only 1 kill goes his way, and that 3rd player, which was CSGO coming around from the CT side, has been dealt with swiftly, meaning that Spirit in another post plant. And unlikely that Big can win the round, but maybe they can take a couple of exit frags with them.
Yeah, it seems like Spirit are actually almost annoyingly good at winning rounds like that. Like, you look at it, you see like 10, 15 seconds on the clock, and you go, oh no, this is going to be one that's really uncomfortable. Like, just a misclick here and there, or a shot not going their way. It could all go wrong.
Would have given me a bit less confidence in that hold, but Young, the aggression, the lightning entry. tabseN now is watching, but that's a weak spray. These are the frags you expect him to land. He has been on point this entire tournament. Now would not be a good time to lose someone of his caliber to poor form.
Facing off against EG, it was an unreal performance. 31 and 12. And for anybody who doesn't know, that is a 2.21 rating. There's not many ratings that end up over 2. Let's just put it that way. If it's over 2...
That's actually absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. A ridiculous performance from him thus far, but again, yet to really show up too much in this map. In fact, he's only got 5 kills total in this map so far, so they definitely weren't all in one round. 7-5, 8 looking inevitable. The aggression into mid, seemingly achieving absolutely nothing. And the patient play from Spirit is enough to just pick them apart. And again, I don't even know how many rounds this has been in a row at this stage. This is about to be...
It was 7 rounds if they win this.
7 rounds? Yeah. So it was 5-1 again. And this was completely flawless.
Over on the upside, we saw some aggression down middle from Tizian, but out of control has been a reoccurring theme. It's just Spirit have been up to the task. Have not been too desperate or anxious, and now some aggressive play. Tizian stuck in middle, got flashed by Mir and finished off, and now they just walk straight through apps. It's a calamity again for Big.
Yeah, the worst thing is as well, I feel like Spirit made some mistakes of their own. Like, Chopper just tries to run through a fully fledged Molotov, like, just goes through the whole thing. And luckily, his teammates just wipe everyone out on the site anyway. They're just not missing a beat at the moment, and Big are struggling. They are really struggling, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Team Spirit are doing anything mind-blowing.
And Big now have the player advantage on top of everything else, but not for long. Magix decapitates Tizian, opens up some avenues round Arches. This is going to play hell with the defense as well, because it isolates Xantares. He's all alone one more time on the site. Well-timed peek, though, and Tabson shuts down Mia. In the back at range with the MP9. They know Patsy's on the A site. They've seen the bomb in his hands. Now they just need to collapse on him. Last round of the half, and Xantares taking tons of damage, but so does Patsy. 9 HP remains. This would be an awesome moment for his career if he could prove exactly why Dexter is on the bench and Patsy is here, and he's exchanging blows with Tabson. There's enough time for the plant, but although Keto has made up ground, that smoke keeps him a little bit unpredictable. Keto's not sure whether to peek or not, and now he's going to be slowly coming around that corner. Patsy's timed this perfectly. Keto is still unsure as to whether he's hiding in the smoke, still unsure which side of the site he currently resides in, and Patsy spins around! That's why Dexter's not playing, that's why Patsy's here, and Spirit pick up 9. And they will be called upon momentarily. Now, all of this is more of a ruse. You can see that Xantares is shooting through that smoke over on B. It's keeping 3 players interested. They're now rotating and wrapping Tabson away. And oh no, Magix has started to make a move, but it may be too premature on this push. There's no way of Big knowing this, but Magix holds the line. It's only into his demise, though. Keto plugs out his head with a P250 at range, and this should now be a post plant. And in a 3v4, with such difficult post-plant positions and a smoke down in their eyes, and to make matters worse, some Die Young dropping, it seems like Big are going to start that machine rolling down the hill, picking up momentum, and Xantares with the Glock with a 3K. Now, you said, Tom, on the T side, he is the player to watch out for. I've tagged down Patsy enough that he had to relocate and give up his position. The SMG tries to rip and spit bullets into the incoming T's, but instead it's Mia's Deagle that will suppress Tabson, keeping himself alive. That's a great smoke as well. It stops them from just barraging their way down through that bottleneck. Young taking this opportunity to get on the back of them, but he's whiffed the first couple of bullets. Finally sticks the landing, though, and Keto and Xantares are pushed aside. That smoke was so vital for Spirit. It kept them at bay. It kept in this awkward position, and now they are dividing and conquering what remains. Tizian, last man standing. They know he's in pit. He's encircled, and Spirit take it in style. Only Patsy loses his life.
I do worry a bit of how successful he's going to be fighting this with a Galil, a preemptive smoke, but his teammate's gone because of it, and Tabson just walks into the site alongside Xantares, and again, this round is all but over. The remaining players of Spirit...
There's a bit of a tentative, dipping their toe in the water and hoping for the best, and now that Mia has been headshotted down by Xantares, Chopper is getting jiggle-peeked over and over again. CSGO tries to hold on. He's just trying to stall as long as possible for Keto to make moves. Tabson, even while flashbang, connects the headshot. Mia's thinking of pushing through the smoke, and push he shall. He gets a kill and he lives. He manages to dart back out again from the shadows. Meanwhile, Chopper's pushed all the way down middle. He spots the bomb, but unfortunately Tizian is there to safeguard it. And now some Die Young goes out for a peek. It's a chaotic round, but it will be Spirit, one player to the good.
He doesn't have a smoke. He can't do anything other than just hope that this Molotov shrouds the vision of his opponent, and this allows Mir the chance to wrap around. They're going to have a decent defense and no way to really hold it off other than Searson's AWP, and he just about manages to survive. But do they know that someone's already made it to the site? Tizian fakes it, and he's going to get the kill onto Mir. He's had a bit of a rough one, but here comes the peak from Magic's back in. His opponent incredibly low, and he's just about going to clutch out the round. An early four-man stack. In fact, no one on B at all. It's being held by Chopper at a distance. Zontaras is going to get the opener, but it's traded out. And again, it's this problem coming in from the apartments. Now, they don't necessarily expect the full force of Spirit to be here, so the rotation now leaving nobody. It's a double-edged sword. It ends up biting them this time, and Big, they will continue forward. And as mentioned,
27 seconds to play with, and the fact that Zontaras has not been spotted yet gives him such a powerful position, but he's missed his shot. He now needs to flank through Library. Fortunately for him, tabseN's got some entries, as has Keto, and it leaves it all to some Die Young. 20 frags to his name, but he goes down to Tizian, and he was the last hope. It's a scrappy round, but Big get it done again.
We're seeing the real vulnerabilities that we basically witnessed earlier in the tournament. This TT side from Team Spirit has not looked good, and Big are just capitalizing on every single inch of it. And now Big are sort of stuck in no man's land. They thought they had the wraparound. Instead, it looks like they're going to continue their initial plan. And again, it's Chopper alone. He needs a minimum of a kill here.
He's already got one. The spray. Oh no, Chopper. Zontaras was weak and he still couldn't finish him off. And Patsy must have so many questions in his head, which has now been cracked open by Tizian's AK-47.
Even with a little bit of team damage coming in, Chopper, it's a 1v5 with an MP9. Like, if he wins this, that he probably deserves some sort of knighthood. And he's actually going to be in the smoke with the man planting the bomb. He can't deny it, though. He could just try and go for a defuse, but he doesn't have a kit. So instead, he tries to kill them off. And somehow, his teammates have actually made this one interesting. It's lashed onto some Die Young. He spots out tabseN, but again, it's not going to be enough. Big, they take themselves a lead after a huge deficit.
Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely agreed. Because it's been such a weakness, it therefore has a reverberating effect on B site as well, because wraparounds are always a concern, over-rotations are always an issue. One weakness can prove to be so detrimental. A lot of damage inflicted to Zontaras. 15 seconds. And they are moving into a stacked site. Maybe overtime isn't completely off the cards just yet, but tabseN just goes straight through like a locomotive, taking the head of Patsy and getting the bomb down behind it. Some Die Young is keeping the dream alive. 19 HP, but he's picked up 2 already. He also goes for the quick peek for information, spotting 2 players on the site. That can be relayed to the rest of his team, but Zontaras now is hitting headshots again. 20 kills, make it 21, and make it 16-14 to Big. The comeback is complete.
Going to be brutal. I believe he got over 90 kills within the 3 maps that were actually played. Couple of overtimes in there, but it doesn't take away the fact that he was unreal. Now, this is the danger man for me, at least on this map. When Mir is playing well, he pretty much dominates outside. He's got a lot of information, but Dexter, he's already gone. Some Die Young, he's got those Julies, but they've managed to make it down the vent anyway, and they might not even need to go in that direction. But look at the CTs. There's 2 players ready and waiting here. This is actually a very good read. They did this previously with Chopper, but Magix has rotated in to support them. Sure, it's not a perfect start, but this is actually workable.
Magic's 1-on-3, but gets splattered by Zontaras. And I agree, I think
worse than when they faced off against Sprout, because one of the things that happened is they never really struggled with economy. So there was no like, oh, can we get the AWP for Dexter in this round? Like, will we have rifles in these certain positions? They always had money to battle with. So it will be interesting to see how Spirit sort of work without. It's not impossible.
They do have Zontaras to contend with, but Magix has taken the head off of Keto. Zontaras down to 8 HP. Tizian with just the Galil in his hands, and Magix goes in for another one, partially through the smoke. I think there was a slight gap in that smoke. and affords him the luxury of dropping the bomb down. Tizian has to try and clutch with 35 seconds. First drop onto Magix, but now needs to go back in for more. So wide swinging towards the site, hasn't checked the vent, and there's Chopper with the pistol. The 5-7 comes good.
Yeah, for sure. This is the best economic start they could have as well. You might be thinking, well, you know, if they just win the pistol, it's never really going to be as good because the pain that you put onto your opponents, the free weaponry you get to retrieve, and then you get the same amount of bonus rounds at the same time. It just leaves you normally in a pretty ridiculous spot. Now, thankfully, they're not going to be buying up that AWP just yet. And it means if they don't lose a single player here, I was going to say there's not going to be an AWP, but I almost wonder if Dexter might have just fallen intentionally.
Incendiary and a few flashbangs will all be clumped together. It's going to be one-dimensional on this retake, and Xantares can play up close. Everyone pretty healthy on Big 2. Still have a flashbang. They can pop that into ramp and go for the wide swing. May not be required. Trajectory of that nade lets them know there's at least another player there, and now they find out all three came down ramp, and that will be their final resting place. Big.
Well, you mentioned there was only 3 successful ones. One of those was a Chopper 1v2, which I think we both agreed at the time he shouldn't have won. Yeah. Now comes the faster plays, and this is what I wanted to see more of. Young, a man after my own heart, is going to pull out the XM and get a double. Still, his teammate falls, but Mir is ready and waiting, and Xantares, well, he may have been phenomenal so far, but 34 HP, he decides it's better to fall back.
Let's see CSGO maybe try and get a pick before Xantares shows his hand, but CSGO has gone down, and so will Xantares. We won't have a repeat performance. This time, Spirit hold on to their advantages. I'm going to say I respect it as well because it shows the confidence of Big. As you say, like they feel like they don't have to rush into anything, even though they're 5-2 behind, even though they know this is just going to stack that economy back up for the CTs if they are unsuccessful. Tons of utility. Just the entire site is enveloped by liquid fire, and now they're looking to push behind that one-for-one trade, but now the smokes, the flashes, the mollies are starting to dissipate. So are the lives of Big. They get cut down. CSGO actually not even on the site. He went off towards ramp to try and rotate around the back and was hoping that maybe if they'd gone for like a 2v2, he could have wrapped into heaven and lurked out from that area. With everyone going down though, last man standing, not for much longer. So I do like the confidence. I like...
They should know that those plays are coming. I'll be honest, Vince, like you watch a couple of Mir's demos and you know he's going to try and fight you right up close. And they were not prepared. 2 kills goes at the trade of 1. tabseN has managed to gain some ground, however, but it seems like they're more than aware of the potential of Mini being open. Look at where the bomb is as well. Even though they're getting these kills, the bomb is still trapped outside. So he hasn't taken this with him. So someone else on the team is going to have to go on a retrieval mission. And you do have to worry that if one of the players outside pushes up a little bit too far, they might have complete control of this round.
Oh, Dexter on top of the garage. Not an angle you're expecting him to use too often, but Tizian will show his hand at the cost of Young's life. Pop flashing himself outside. Love that flash, but Dexter's not really affected. And that's an important part of the formula, isn't it? If you take the risks, you have to make sure you make them count. Young and Nia getting themselves in amongst it. He has missed a couple times, but fortunately he has big brother Nia there to lend him a helping hand and just to shield away any of that aggression. It was effectively just pistols. So, not going to get too carried away for Spirit, and CSGO could be getting a bomb plant, which is not too bad. You know, builds up the economy a little bit. Their round loss bonus is accruing anyway. That flash is going to affect CSGO, but still smacks off the head of Young. But it is the same result, Tom. They're looking good to get a bare minimum of 10 rounds on this half. tabseN, though, just carves a path, but Mir behind him, forever mixing up his angles. Mr. Unpredictable. Magix has dropped the bomb down in ramp. 2 players to fend off against him. Just needs to stall. Another kill is fine. This last player, seriously, is being flanked from lobby. Whether he pushes into ramp or whether he stays in position, he's likely a dead man regardless. This would be Spirit making some categorical mistakes and errors. 15 seconds. The only thing that's really going in CSGO's favor is he has control of the bomb. So if he can somehow wiggle his way up towards heaven and drop down onto A, maybe there's a way through to save this round yet. But he's about to be pushed on from a player on the A side. That's going to be Chopper. Even if he successfully gets the bomb down, he's gone anyway.
Curious. It didn't work anyway, but I suppose Young did eventually die. 9-2 though. Spirit continue what is an impressive showing, and while one of the main places they've tried to push has been ramp, and Magix again been very good in these sort of positions. Xantares though, a perfect pop flash will take down the opposition AWPer and leave
These post-plant positions are looking good. Both in spots, off angles. Tizian can look towards the window. Has just heard that crack open. Molly up and over. That's designated towards the shadow area. Not sure it actually landed. I think it exploded in midair, so it didn't really affect him at all. It went towards ramp, pardon me. So it didn't really matter regardless. Tizian's got himself one frag. There wasn't time, and Zantares puts a bullet in the head of Sumdai Young. Mia, 17 kills. Not even reached the halfway point yet. Could be more. The chopper's fallen. The back of the site. Magix will follow. He was looking down. Mia has a chance. He has a chance to pivot in, but CSGO shuts him down before he can get more than one. Dexter at least puts it down into a 1-on-2. With his AWP, will make this a costly one for Big. But he'll have half an eye to clutch this round and make it his. No smoke could be a problem. He can't smoke on one of these angles or maybe even try and force one of these players out. No kit either, but there is one on the floor, which is now going to get picked up momentarily. Was in the hands of Chopper beforehand, but now it's down to the open. CSGO stuck in hut. The bomb is ticking away ever so quickly. Dexter needs to tickle the bomb. He needs to get CSGO out into the open. He needs to shut him down, but CSGO on the approach.
This is what they did on Inferno, though. It was the late round takes that it seemed like Spirit really struggled with, and again, they're going to go back to basics and try and just hit straight into A. I think it will be more likely one of the more successful opportunities, but look at the setup. An AWP waiting from Dexter. He's watching, but he misses the shot, and re-peeking it would be a huge risk. Luckily for him, he doesn't have to. His teammates have held the line and left Quito as the only man remaining. He's got 6 seconds, and Dexter's just too quick on the flick. Again, it's a phenomenal first half from Team Spirit. The question is,
Jip dips in with a pretty big headshot, and Tabson survives, gives the call that some players are on main side. He needs some help, but his aim is off. He hasn't been punished with his life, and now Zantares is going to show his hand with the USP. Bomb gets dropped down, Tabson finally falls, but now Zantares, who's up on the catwalk, can start to rip through more heads. Magix is next up to the plate, and next up gets dissolved away, but they use this opportunity to actually vent dive. And Sumdai Young does have the bomb, but Mia's doing it all alone. He's an absolute beast right now with 21 frags, and he could add another one because Kirsten is so low, but they double peak him. It's down to Sumdai Young.
He's got the right idea as well. The drop comes in, the first kills for free, and he spots out Zantares. The kit has been retrieved, so there's actually plenty of time, and this is the man you'd want in these sort of situations. Sumdai Young just trying to find the peak, but he can't do anything. He's always up for those headshots every single time.
They haven't got a huge amount of real estate available to them. They're going to try and pivot down ramp where Tabson's now waiting with his M4. First spray is good on the weakened Mia, and it's a cleanup. He's joined by Zantares. It's that 1-2 punch again of Tabson and Zantares that so often is the KO blow for most teams that go up against Big. With 20 seconds, Dexter, he gets spotted, he ggets fragged by CSGO Scout through the wall as well for good measure. This flank is only as good as the pieces that he can play with afterwards. And CSGO should be going down here, gets headshotted out, but now they know exactly where he is. And this is where if he had a full team to play behind, it would be so devastating for Big. But they should be able to lock this down. They're going to try and swipe in on towards ramp, but they didn't check their close angle, and that is the outcome. Tabson with a double, and Zantares cleans it up.
T-side AWPing, normally a struggle, but Dexter making it look easy, and Tabson walks backwards. 2 of your teammates have just died from that angle, and Dexter's just taken control. It's not going to be an ace for him, but
I was going to say, he navigated his way down to ramp expertly. If he got caught on a wall, he's dead, because they followed that flash up real quick. 20 seconds, though, forces him into an awkward position, but Tizian spray lets him down. Quito waits a little bit just to steady himself, but he knows there's going to be more players funneling their way through hut. He gets a dink, but doesn't finish off Magix on 6 HP. They have enough time for the bomb plant, which will be going down now, pretty much. And Tabson making moves in alongside Zantares. It's that dynamic duo one more time. Big pick from Zantares. The wide swing from Dexter, though, will silence him. And now Tabson is stepping up to the plate. Dexter off angle, and Dexter strikes once more.
Take a fight with the AWP. He misses again. He's dead. But it just seems that every time he's in those positions, he does not miss. Now, this aggressive push, he's actually going to go peeking. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with this, and actually he gets punished for it. That's an AWP down outside. Luckily, Mir will be there to pick up the pieces.
Well, time of the essence in more than one way. The timing window of opportunity for Spirit may come to a draw. It may come to a close. 15 seconds coming up. Impact needs to be felt right here, right now. Sometimes young,
a little time
pushing towards the site. There's the kill they're looking for, but the bomb's nowhere to be found. They're running out of time. They may even die after time as well if Keto White swings this, and he does. So Dexter gets crushed. They do have money to buy again. Alleviate some of that pressure that is swelling. Xantares with his secondary AWP downstairs, thinks better of his position and pulls back. But they must realize that Sundai Young is going to be somewhere around this vicinity because they saw him get a pick earlier. And I highlighted this confrontation earlier. It goes against Searson. Dexter continues to body bag him, but Xantares and Tabson are trying to get them across to an 11th round.
Once again, they've got to try and make a late round play. A Molotov will be expended, but they may even hear the footsteps. They're making so much noise. They have to have a decent idea that they're now going to be doubling back, and Keto has repositioned. He loses the battle to Dexter, though. It comes down to Tabson, and the timing looks good, but he misses his shot and doesn't expect Magix to come back around the corner. It gives a 1v2, but again, Vince, this is the man you want.
Xantares is so good in these positions. It's a clean kill to kick things off, but he's against the man mountain himself, Dexter, who takes the grenade, chops him down to size. One bullet should seal it. Dexter may have to get aggressive to try and bypass this low HP, but Xantares has played it to perfection. Simmers in. Delicious clutch, and Big will have an 11th round. It's at the cost of 4 players, though. That is significant within itself, but it's not like Spirit have fantastic economy either. He's had a really rough nuke here. Needs to have a bit of impact. Does connect the shot, but it's not the kill. He's missed one too many. He's about to get overwhelmed. He needs some support structure, and it's not forthcoming. A good flash keeps Xantares at arm's reach, and Mia is now showing his hand with a Mac 10. Spirit lead by 2 players.
Not be the round. It slips. The timing looked like it was going to go in Mir's favor, but you'd think he'd done enough for this round. Tizian, you almost feel like this has to be a double. He's the lone defender of this A side. The other 2 players just about starting to rotate around into Mini. The timing is going to be everything here, and Dexter just domes him, leaving Tabson again. This time, he's got a better shot. What is that shot from Magix? A Tech 9 running through. I'm getting flashbacks.
But what can you do about Dexter instantly dry peeking with the Deagle and popping your head off? Very solid purchase. It's not bode well. Keto, though, gets the insta drop. Oh, and a second as well with the Deagle, and a third through the smoke. And that's the bomb that goes down with it, trading across to the rifle, goes in for spray, and tags Dexter down so very low, who no-scopes Tizian, who tries to make the most of it. Now, Big, you've got the advantage. Just hold on.
Going to throw out a little bit of extra utility, and the fact is there's only 15 seconds. They might even just have to look into holding on to the guns. He's got that quad, and eventually Xantares will finish things off, but it was all Keto in that round. That's what I talked about earlier with the risk of that play, and they don't know. They don't know. Mir again. He just gains so much space. This 1-2 punch, it works on both sides of the map. These 2 players, I can't wait to see the future because the present is already fantastic from what they brought through. Dexter, he's so aware, but he actually doesn't connect the shot. A repeat here would be such a risk, and I'd be surprised if you go back for anything more, Tizian. Still trying to fight, I guess at this stage, just thinking it's over, and maybe it is, because Dexter given 3 opportunities to kill him, Vince. 3!
Yeah, that's a puzzler, isn't it? Like, the guy's on fire right now. You got an AWP against the rifle at that range. You know he's watching the angle. I don't really understand it, but yeah, maybe mentally they've already checked out, Tom. Maybe they realize, let's not expend any more energy here. Let's focus on Dust 2 instead. Keto at least gets 1. He had a phenomenal round last time, but he will not be afforded the luxury of striking twice. Dust 2 is going to be coming up in our semi-finals, and Spirit T-side to kick things off. Plenty of utility, Sundai Young and Chopper, and they're not waiting around. They're getting straight into the action here. Jumping with his back and still gets the headshot to Keto. Xantares at the back of the site gets bulldozed by Dexter. And now Tabson is doing a bit of damage, but he's been shut down by Sundai Young. It's on Searson at range with the USP, trying desperately to tap him for some headshots, but missing and getting punished. Spirit,
big player when it comes to this map.
CSGO has been winged with his scout, misses the second shot, or at least he didn't miss, but he didn't get the frags. And Torres picks up 2 before he's silenced, but Tabson is now making moves around the back. Tizian taking down Dexter, forces Young's presence to go backwards, and in doing so, he catches that flank in effect. Tizian and Keto have higher HP. Actually, both of them have more HP than the 2 remaining Spirit players combined.
35 seconds left. The cross coming. Tizian in a prime position, but he actually goes peeking past. He doesn't realize, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Magic makes his cross and leaves Keto alone. But we've already seen some Deagle magic from him throughout the series so far. One of the main change round, and it's an instant headshot, one that's not needed. A single bullet is all he needs to close this out, and they will get themselves the force by a victory.
Still early days, of course, but something I'm going to be keeping my eye on as the rounds progress. Smoke down onto the middle portion of the map, but it's not really covering off anything. It's allowing the CTs to actually go for a peek, and the peek is good. It does yield 1 frag before Mia comes back, a bit of damage to Sundai Young, but more importantly, it has expended the rest of the utility that Spirit had. And Mia, through the smoke, comes out second best to the hands of Zantares. They did take their 2 B players off the site, though, to deal with that threat, and in doing so, they've both been picked off. So Sundai Young should be able to get a bomb plant, and at that point with the AWP, anything is possible.
I think he expects them to be a little bit closer than they are and realizes that finding a kill here is going to be so important. The problem is he's allowed time for Tizian to rotate in, and while he'll take the kill nonetheless. I really like the way the Big used their utility to give their players angles to take peeks. Okay, what is that from Searson? He's just ripped them a new one. They're trying to find out if he can actually just see straight through the door at this point, because he's going back for more, feeling confident, it's clear, and waiting for Young to take the peek. They're throwing everything they have to try and stop this man, and he's going to push. This could be his undoing. If he gets away with it, it's a huge play. If he falls, it could be the problem of the round. And interestingly, the rest of the team have actually gone onto the A site and got themselves a plant. Meanwhile, Searson's still fighting in the smoke.
Uh-oh. All of that early impact he had has been now mitigated, negated across, and now Spirit have the advantage. Maybe overstaying his welcome. The rest of Big did succumb, though, to the pressure. Tizian keeping them alive in this round, but Zantares' life has now been put out. And with that, Tizian pretty much has to save the AWP. And that is such a surprise to him. When you see 2 wallbang shots like that, like highlight reel-worthy stuff from Searson, and they still lose the round, you kind of sat there scratching your head a little bit, wondering where they went wrong.
Reaggressing, takes control of the pit, and he has Searson alongside him, who snaps to the edge of the smoke. Leaves Young dead on the floor, and Dexter can't really help out his teammate, leaving Chopper completely isolated. Mir, though, quickly responds as he just runs down mid. Oh no, what just happened from Tabson?
Can Searson stop the bomb plant? He's not even going to attempt to. He wants to keep himself stealthy, incognito, so he can pounce in. He nearly lines him up for 2 for 1, but he does get put down by Dexter, who then gets finished off by Keto. My God, I thought Searson had just pulled off the collateral of dreams, but instead, it will be Big taking the round all the same.
What a sick shot, though, from Searson. They keep doing that. I keep trying to mention it, and then something happens. They throw the HEs instead of a smoke to allow the cross, and then it allows Searson to peek behind it. And he's so good at just landing the shots on the player in top mid. In fact, they force behind this AWP because they have faith that he can win it for them.
I'd be right alongside any of that faith. He has been an absolute monster these last 6 to 12 months, but Keto's Deagle is no slouch. He's waiting for that cross. They've smoked the cross. They can at least try and get a bomb plant bare minimum. But plenty of grenades have been tossed towards the site now. 2 flashes still at their disposal. 30 seconds. Chopper tries to rummage around the CT side, desperately to win the round. But with his death, it leaves Magic's all alone. He gets tagged from Searson and then pummeled by Tabson. 7-5 lead. So damage has been inflicted on both sides of the teams. So much time still available to Spirit and Magix again, taking the head of Tabson. Tizian did spot the shoulder peak of Chopper. If he overextends and falls down, that could be the round that goes with him. And indeed he shall. Xantares now needs to do so much by himself. It's a mile away from Quito, who is trying desperately to wrap around towards the T side. So they need a pick quickly. Time is ticking away. They do have a kit and an incendiary, which has now been tossed onto Car. No one's home. Magix still alive at the back of the site, going to be able to print out some frags and print out the round in moments. And indeed he will. Xantares goes down, and there will be no weapons to play with.
Oh, you never know. Maybe if they work on pistol and conversion rounds, they could be a real contender. Mir is going to go running out long, but there are plenty of players here waiting for him. His teammate goes running through the entirety of a Molotov. So a lot of low HP, but just wanting to try and be a support system for Mir. Eventually, Chopper will fall back. Some Young, I have no idea how he's not managed to win that duel.
That flash was perfect. Searson couldn't see a single thing. Dexter tosses it in and will be picked up. Chopper and Mia have been the assailants. Quito now waiting for that push. There are going to be 4 players up against them. 2 of them are a shot away from death, it should be mentioned, and especially if you hit them in the head. Chopper was one of those weakened players. Now they're moving on to Quito. Nice first flick, but ultimately a bridge too far. And Xantares on 19 HP, and with an AK underway, misses his chance, and Spirit will lead going through to the second half. We need to crown our first grand finalist, and we'll find out which of these 2 it's going to be after this break. And give him tons more opportunities for frags. Mia will be leading the charge towards the site itself, turning into the entry frag, but it's Magix that picks up the first. Lots of damage has been inflicted towards him. Mia runs out of ammunition and is picked off as well, but Magix does come to the call of his fallen teammate. It is Big, though, that are holding the line by and large in a 1-on-3 with Chopper on no health. 15 remains, and he wants to just save the kit. He's out of there. Big ties back up again.
Yeah, an important pistol round to take, no doubt. And, well, for all the things we've sort of been joking about throughout this match, we've got second half Tabs and we've got T-sides on Xantares both coming up.
Can mess with the vision quite a bit. That HE chunks the HP bars of Quito and Xantares. And now there's more CTs have joined the fray. Searson, though, perforates the head of Mia through the smoke, and Xantares getting himself one. They're still yet to get the bomb planted down, but that will come in a few moments' time. And it's been a valiant attempt, and actually, never mind that. Not just valiant, but it's actually potentially going to be a successful attempt. Because it's gone down to a 2-on-1. Quito's been scouted down by Dexter, and Sumda Young is still alive with his 2 frags. And Searson, the hero of the first half, that has to once again get Big out of a horrible situation. The bomb's not even planted for him either, and they do have a kit, but it's not even required. They get the full 10-second defuse, and Spirit's forced by has crushed Big again. They're still on the site posted up with Xantares going for these dry peaks with the Deagle. They're all clumped together, and Xantares has put down 2 Deagle frags. It seems like they will live by the Deagle, but die by it too. It's not done just yet. The deal has not been signed fully, but they have cashed in with frags, and now that Galil goes into the hands of Xantares, who's looking to spray them back in, and Dexter's AWP is all that remains. Certainly not tailor-made for these kind of positions. The time is too low. He's gonna die. They pick up the AWP, and Big return the favor in style. The lack of utility is no longer as much of a concern. They have enough with that incendiary, but they are being pincered through, and the incendiary, unfortunately, was over on A. It wasn't on the B side of the map. Mia, though, does stand up for one, but both the pieces of B have fallen down, and this is where you're eyeing up for a save. This is where you just need to hold on to what little you have, because ultimately, if you don't, you'll have absolutely nothing to play with in the next round. At least this gives you a chance.
I think they can afford to lose an extra weapon here, and him being perfectly healthy, they're actually going to just play it safe. I'm surprised. Oh, Searson's wrap could be everything. There's all 4 players currently set up on short. They're lining up grenades, and he's looking to come in from behind. The bomb won't be planted for him, so he needs his teammates to buy some time, and they're doing just that. Here comes the peek, but he misses his shot, and actually Dexter's still reloading. He goes for the re-peek, and Searson gets away with just 1 HP. Tizian, in the meantime, will hold the line, and he ends up getting a triple kill. It got hectic, that's for sure, but Big
but Chopper's not fully pushed behind this. And the issue is with his position now, this has a sell-by date on it because he's about to get flanked from lower tunnels. He still gets one, though, before getting fragged down by Keto. Antares and Keto both chime in for 2 apiece, and now Spirit trailed by a player.
Yeah, they tried something very audacious. I'm surprised Chopper even gets a kill in that round with the wraparound coming through tunnels. Dexter, very low. Flashbang is going to be enough for Searson to garner his 28th kill of the game, and Some Die Young.
And I think it's a point that you were touching on, that these like limited buys where they are getting weapons but not much utility, they're not getting double orbs.
By the looks of it, it's actually the rest of the team that are going to do that instead. Zontares ready and waiting for the peak, but Magix is just so crisp with that deagle. He's going to start things off, gain a rifle. Dexter there with the scout, but it's Some Die Young alongside him. Keto with a prominent trade and will continue to push Dexter in no man's land, but somehow still manages to take one with him. He's given his team a chance for sure, but with this man still standing, who knows what's going to happen.
It is the Grim Reaper on the server still. And he comes wearing a big jersey. Tabson, labored spray, finally gets it on the second time of asking and keeps their options available. With him showing his hand in middle, it actually draws away both of Spirit to deal with this threat. Catwalk and mid peaks, and that gives long control up, so Big can start to push through there. Now, they don't know this. The guaranteed certainty. They're running out of time. They have to hit A. That much is clear. Molly and Smoke for the cross. They couldn't get a double down. And Searson, uncharacteristic miss. And that cost them. That cost them everything. Magix with a double spray. Now they can buy again, as we said before. Their economy is in great shape. Up and over. It does stall them a little bit longer, but at bare minimum, this should be a bomb plant. And when they have a buy coming into the next round, and they still have a bit of firepower at their disposal, it's not a bad outcome for Big thus far.
Yeah, we know what they can do in afterplants as well. That's been the true strength of Big in comparison. Don't get me wrong, Spirit have proven themselves with firepower, but their retakes have not been great. Tabson also making things a bit awkward. This man only has a P250, but somehow has bought a lot of time for his teammates. However, it's not going to last much longer, it seems. Tizian into the 1 versus 3. First kill goes his way, and the problem now, it's not planted for him. Double Molotovs, he has to run through. He does somehow get the first kill and make things very costly indeed, but Magix will trade himself.
Yeah, that's a really good point to highlight. Now, they do have tons of flashes, which can mitigate some of those problems, but it is very difficult, especially when you've just lost Chopper. That makes Long that little bit more tentative. It forces Magix to hold his position, and now Dexter, who desperately would love to have a molly, would love to have a smoke right now, just has to play off this flashbang. Up he comes, that's the bomb down first. He has another flashbang, bounces it off the wall. Another peek could be coming in. Gandalf is clear, but Magix has it locked down. Tabson now showing his hand, but he's the last player left on 1 HP, and he gets finished off. I thought that was going away from Spirit, but my God, did they hold on.
The question is, again, is this worth the fight? They need a kill relatively quickly. A 3 versus 4 situation is not ideal, and walking into the crosshair of Searson has been pretty much a death wish. This time, though, it's Tizian to take the peak. Tabson tapping away, but not quite able to find anything. It doesn't matter. He's got the AWP to support him. And I think Mir realizes this is a done deal.
Yeah, plus it's the AK, which is such a massively beneficial weapon on the CT side. Looks like he will survive, though. No one wanted to try and trade off against him. And again, against some of the best teams on the planet. How does Spirit, a relatively new lineup, deal with it? Well, Magix decides, I'm going to just hold down left click, and you're all going to die. Double spray through the smoke, and Dexter will survive. Chopper now in a position to maybe put this round and regulation to bed. Searson, though, has been such a monster on this map. There's one. He needs to pull off the 1v5 to take all of the chips home. He has a bit of time to play with. Can hear Some Die Young making moves up, but misses the shot, and that's going to cost him. We head to overtime for a spot in the grand finals. Join us after the break to find out which of these two teams progresses. Interestingly as well, in terms of regulation, both sides were very even. It was 8-7, 8-7. So it's not as if one side is going to have more value in terms of rounds. So early on, Spirit losing the first player and second, and make that 3. Opening picks, Spirit are stumbling. Magix and Some Die Young Their only 2 remaining players, and make that just Magic's. Now, he has been a man on fire, and that's why. Look at his aim. Just carves out a path through 2 heads and nearly takes down tabseN. And with Xantara's pretty low. Yeah, and having that faith as well, because yesterday, let's be honest, he didn't have a great performance overall. He was a little bit off. So for him to come back and show us what he's really, truly all about is massive. But Sumda Young, been a bit under the radar, decides it's his turn to take control. It's his turn to lock it down. And that AWP is on point. 4 kills go his way, and Dexter picks up the rest. Team Spirit may have lost the first round, but they've come back with authority.
Here we go. A complete change of pace. A quick push through middle. And actually, Chopper's got very far. It seems like they've been given this almost for free. A kill coming in onto tabseN has definitely made things problematic, and Chopper is just being patient. He spots the AWP. That's an easy kill. I don't know if they knew how far they got, but they are falling apart. It's left to Xantares once again, and this time he gets nothing. CSGO, well, he can go for this. Money's not an issue. But at the same time, a 1v5, he's been fantastic, but this might be a little bit much to ask.
Yeah, he just had no hope. And although Chopper got loads of room through mid, a pot that we maybe didn't catch yielded a lot of success, but now they're going to be smoking back out again, looking to isolate both Keto and Xantares from the rest of the pack. But Keto, who's had a very slow start to Dust 2, is now picking up that slack, and he's making sure that he puts his team in a good position. Xantares may go down, but a lot of damage is inflicted. However, 2 entries back-to-back open up the B site, and although Magic's and Chopper are low, a post-plant means that it's very doable for them to take their spot in the grand finals.
Made it possible. The peak from Sumda Young gets rid of tabseN. It gives them a man advantage in a round that was just looking to slip away from them. CSGO and Tizian coming from opposite angles. They've expected the peak, and now it's left onto the man with 36 kills to try and close this out. He forces an angle from Sumda Young, who's burning to his death, but he can't quite land the shot. Big, the number 4 team in the world, have just been eliminated by the brand new Team Spirit. I'm pretty sure that means almost every single prediction.